And tonight we start with some breaking news out of Aurora. Police say 2 men are hurt after a shooting at Foxdale condominiums off of Alameda near the Buckley Space Air Force Base. Police say one of the men has life-threatening injuries. The other has serious injuries. No one has been arrested. If you have any information about this, you're asked to call Aurora Police. Thanks for watching. I'm Jeremy Hohola. The Park County Sheriff's Office is asking for people to be on the lookout for a woman named Jana Lang. They say she was heading to Summit County last Sunday. 9 News reporter Colton Chavez spoke with her family, who's hoping that she's safe. Colton.
Yeah, that's right, Jeremy. Eric Horvitz says nobody has heard from his sister Jana in almost a week, creating, as you can imagine, a lot of concern for family over this Thanksgiving holiday.
She's very outgoing, very compassionate, very caring person, super athletic. She's done triathlons, marathon.
Jana Lang is loved by a lot of people, including her brother, Eric Horvath.
So my sister, she's a beloved sister, aunt, friend, niece, daughter.
Horvath says his sister is 46 years old. On Thanksgiving, the Park County Sheriff's Office shared this post on Facebook, asking for people to be on the lookout for Jana Lang. It says she was headed to Summit County last Sunday in this white 2016 Toyota 4Runner. Horvath says her license plate spells Jana.
She was leaving on Sunday to go to Silverthorne to look at the factory outlet shops and stuff. And the next day her work called and said she didn't show up to work.
Something he says his sister has never done before.
We've had some hard family times the last couple of years, and it's been rough on all of us, but we've stuck together. And
Park County Sheriff's Office says Jana likes to visit Park County, especially the Indian Mountain subdivision. Horvath says what's not included in the Sheriff's Office post is a tip he wants people to know about.
Somebody might have seen that car driving from Breckenridge to Keystone on Highway 6 on Wednesday night.
He's asking for everyone to be on the lookout.
Right now it's kind of a needle in the haystack.
He wants this message to reach his sister.
Come home, Jana. We miss you. It'd be great to have you home for the holidays.
And we have reached out and are waiting on more information from the Park County Sheriff's Office. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Sheriff's Office immediately. Colton Chavez, 9 News.
Well, a really nice day in the metro area. The sun was out with some cooler temperatures. It was great weather for all of those Black Friday shoppers walking off all of that turkey and looking for those good deals. Here in Denver, Lauren, I'm planning on getting on my roof tomorrow to put up the Christmas lights. I hope I don't fall down. Hopefully it's good weather. Hopefully.
Well, falling down is one thing. The weather will at least cooperate.
Yeah.
And that's because we're going to be seeing sunny, warm conditions through the next several days. So a great stretch of weather to get outside and maybe do those outdoor decorations before it gets cold and soggy again. This afternoon, we made it to 39 degrees. We were a tad bit above our we made it to 49 degrees earlier this afternoon. Right now, we're at 39 degrees, where we saw this afternoon temperatures a tad bit above our seasonal highs for this time of year. And now we're cooling down nicely. Still pretty mild, though, at DIA at 39 degrees. Most of the Front Range and Eastern Plains in the 20s to lower 30s. We're seeing those teens and 20s in the high country. Some areas sub-zero, 4 below in Kremling, 15 below being reported right now down in Gunnison, and then those teens through 20s across the western slope. Now, as we take a look at our 24-hour temperature change map, most of the urban corridor, including down south through Colorado Springs, those temperatures much warmer than what we saw just yesterday. We're going to continue to see warmer weather push its way in, and that's because of this ridge of high pressure. So coming up in my full 7-day forecast, we're going to talk about the cold night ahead, but we do have a windy day ahead for the foothills, and warmer weather will be moving in. Those details coming up.
2 suspects seen in a viral video recorded here in Colorado have been arrested in New York City. That's according to Immigration and Customs Enforcement. ICE says it has arrested Dainier Amarillo Meneses and Edison Pena Angulo Wednesday after executing a search warrant. ICE says both are members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Aurora police have warrants for both of their arrests tied to the video from August of this year at the Edge at Lowry Apartments at 12th and Dallas. Warrants say they knocked on 2 doors, entered the apartments, and threatened people inside. They were wanted for burglary and menacing. That video received national attention and led to claims from President-elect Donald Trump that the city had been taken over by Venezuelan gangs. Police and city leaders have said the gang's presence is small. 6 Aurora police officers are on leave after they shot a man and sent him to the hospital last night. Aurora police say they were initially called for reports of gunfire in the area near Sable Boulevard and Kentucky Drive just east of I-225. When officers arrived, they found an armed man. Police claim they gave him multiple commands to drop the weapon, but he fired at officers instead. Police shot back. No officers were hurt during the exchange, but police say the man did have some serious injuries. The 6 officers have been put on administrative leave, which is standard protocol. Officials say no one was hurt during a large fire at a large structure in Byers today. Crews say that fire got so large because of flammable material inside that exploded. 6 fire departments responded. A couple of dozen homes near the area had to be evacuated while firefighters worked to contain it. After a few hours, people were allowed to go back home. Officials say the cause of that fire was accidental, with an estimated loss of more than $1 million.
There's a lot of stories out there that, the public needs to know. They need to know our story.
Today marks 160 years since the Sand Creek Massacre. More than 200 men, women, and children were murdered when military forces attacked a camp of Cheyenne and Arapaho in southeast Colorado. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause and photojournalist Tom Cole take us back to that day in 1864 and the work of indigenous communities to make sure their story is being told.
We're speaking about a very large community.
It's the most horrible things that you can think of to do to another person.
At the end of November in 1864,
the soldiers that day brought pieces of the victims back to Denver and they put them on display in the Denver Theater.
it's part of the day, and the stillness that it holds is profound.
This corner of southeast Colorado sits empty. Little about the landscape sticks in your mind, but the memory of a November day 16 decades earlier lingers in the ground.
160 years can maybe be 16 seconds ago for some people.
November 29, 1864 is a day Mario Medina can't forget.
Very fresh.
A park ranger at the Sand Creek Massacre historic site.
This is a difficult story.
The violent acts of that day are never far from his mind.
Murder in the morning, they kill all our ancestors.
Chester Whiteman with the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma says the government had broken treaty after treaty, whittling away their lands. They'd been commanded to go to Fort Lyon, and hundreds of Cheyenne and Arapaho were camped along the bend of the Big Sandy Creek under an American flag and a white flag.
We got led there by the government. They tried to negotiate peace with Evans and Chevington wouldn't do that.
But that year, Colorado Territorial Governor John Evans issued a proclamation calling for citizens to kill Native Americans. A commander named John Chivington had a plan for attack.
John Chivington knew that the camp he was attacking was a camp of elders, women, and children. It was a chief's camp.
Sam Bach with History Colorado says the morning of November 29th, the Cheyenne and Arapaho awoke to the sound of hoofbeats. Fast approaching, not bison, but the 3rd Regiment of the Colorado Cavalry.
And the story that's been told is White Antelope went to meet with the soldiers and they shot him, killed him on sight. And Black Kettle was trying to put the American flag up and the flag of truce, the white flag, and the soldiers started firing.
So it happened somewhere out here. It's an active shooter incident times 700. There are people that are running, there are people that are hiding, there are people that are hiding each other, burying them into the sand.
Some got away, a lot of them didn't.
All they found was body parts.
Gail Ridgely, a member of the Northern Arapaho tribe and Sand Creek Massacre descendant, says those who returned found only horror.
All the victims were chopped up, loaded up, and they were paraded down Denver 3 days later as trophies.
More than 230 men, women, and children, including many elders, were killed in the brutal attack. the deadliest day in Colorado's history.
The use of cannons and grape shot and Bowie knives and rifles against unarmed civilians. That was shocking, even in that time and place.
Today, we still feel that. We still feel that hurt.
White Man says the trauma of what happened lingered for survivors.
The story of this old lady who always went to bed with her moccasins on. And she was asked, well, why do you do that? She said, we have to be ready. They could come back, and when they do, we're gonna have to run.
Fred Masqueda, a member of the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes of Oklahoma, says the indigenous peoples are now helping tell their story at the Sand Creek Historic Site where the massacre took place, and in Denver at History Colorado, consulting on an exhibit to share the history so many never learned in school.
I grew up here in Colorado, and I didn't learn about the Sand Creek Massacre until I was in college.
There's more work to be done.
What we need to do is the awareness part, and we're working on it.
White Man says the tribes make the trip out to Sand Creek every year to remember, to honor those lost. Still, they hope one day to come back to Colorado to stay.
We're gonna make our way back home.
On this stretch of land, the blue sky hugs the brush on the ground. Little here is left behind to tell. But the story of what happened that day 160 years ago is planted deeply in the ground. They'll continue to unearth the story of that day to ensure the horror of what happened isn't buried for good.
Just remembrance for them. We have to carry it on so nobody will forget.
In Kiowa County, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
In the decades after the Sand Creek Massacre, the Cheyenne and Arapaho would continue to be pushed out of Colorado. The northern Arapaho to Wyoming, the northern Cheyenne to Montana. And the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes were forced onto reservations in Oklahoma. They're keeping their traditions, language, and culture alive today.